Hey everybody, welcome to our first 2019 Facebook Live. Happy New Year. I'm Mike Bonwell with Douglas Stake here, our service manager. And Douglas and I were talking about what we can do for Facebook Live, and we thought, why not talk about the HydroForce? It's by far the most, wouldn't you say it's probably one of the most widely used pieces of equipment accessory in the cleaning industry?
It really is.
So we thought we could, I'm going to hopefully cover some tips that you may or may not know on the functionality of the piece of equipment. And Douglas here is going to talk about
Some basic maintenance and care for the HydroForce.
All right, perfect. So you can follow me. So a couple things you may or may not know about the HydroForce. First off, the factory tip, which is, I don't know if you can see that, there's a yellow tip that comes standard when you buy this. That factory tip dilutes the chemical at an 8-to-1. So most pre-sprays that are used in our industry are not 8-to-1. They're actually at a 16-to-1 or a 32-to-1. So you have a couple of options. One is you can buy a metering tip kit, which Douglas will talk about a little bit later, around $26. And depending upon the product you're using, if you have a pre-spray that's 1 cup per gallon, which is a 16-to-1 ratio, they have a color for that. If you're using a pre-spray at a 32-to-1 ratio, they have another tip, another color for that. And they have a little cheat sheet right here, tells you what color and what dilution. If you don't want to go to this expense and switch them back and forth, you may want to write this down. So again, yellow tip is 8-to-1. A pre-spray that is 16-to-1, you want to mix your solution at a 50-50 mixture to get the proper 16-to-1 dilution. If you have a pre-spray that is 32-to-1, again, that'd be half a cup per gallon, you actually want to mix that at a 3-to-1 dilution in there to get the proper dilution. Secondly, for this to meter properly, it actually needs your truck mount or portable needs to be at 400 PSI. That was something honestly that I forgot about until I was reading up on this. Now what's interesting about that is I know a lot of you guys clean at higher PSIs and a lot of you guys clean at lower PSIs. So if you go higher than 400 PSI, you actually get less chemical, and if you go lower than 400 PSI, you actually get more chemical. For an example, at 200 PSI, you actually get a 5-to-1 ratio instead of the 8-to-1. So for all you owners out there trying to budget chemical costs, you may want to obviously think about that. The other thing, another selling advantage to this is obviously if you're hooking this up to a truck mount, you get obviously the maximum temperature of what the truck mount is running outside. So if you've got a truck mount kicking out 230, 240 degrees, you're heating that chemical obviously to that temperature, which you get the full benefit of the whole called cleaning pie when we talk about heat being very important. Obviously, the hotter we put our chemical down, the less dwell time, which saves time, which obviously saves money. Another thing, if you wanted to compare the HydroForce to a pump-up sprayer, follow me over here. Now we have two lovely ladies who are going to be demonstrating this. I don't know if it's going to catch on camera a whole lot, but Veronica has a very high-end Chapin pump-up sprayer. Now, for Veronica, I went ahead and pumped it up for her. But the normal person can only pump these things up at max at 40 PSI. So most high-end pump-up sprayers do have a pop-off valve. So I'm going to try to see if this will get on camera or not. But if we pump this up, it pops off. So the most pressure on something like this is 40 PSI. Obviously, she's going to start spraying here real soon. As soon as she starts spraying, obviously the pressure is going to go down. So a pump-up sprayer versus HydroForce, obviously you're going to get a little bit of a fluctuation in the amount of chemical you're putting down. Versus the HydroForce, obviously your truck mount is set at whatever, hopefully 400 PSI, and you're 400 PSI throughout. I mentioned earlier about temperature. Now, this is one of the highest in my opinion, one of the top poly sprayers you can buy, in my opinion. I've had one of these before where I've put super hot water in these, and the piston I've actually had actually implode, and I ruined it because the heat was so great. It basically what I would call imploded or concaved in. So you got to be real careful with that. So I mean, yes, you can put hot water in them, but I would not recommend, you know, full blown, you know, 220, 230, 240 degree heat. You definitely want to cool that down a little bit. Whereas on the Hydroforce, it's full blown temp. You're not going to hurt that at all. So we're going to do a little bit of demonstration. Hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. So what they're going to demonstrate is this: 40 PSI. The standard jet on these is an 04 jet. So 40 PSI, 04 jet, you're only going to put out about 0.4 gallons per minute. So Liz, demonstrating the Hydroforce at 400 PSI. Factory jet is an 06. So 400 PSI with an 06 jet puts out about 2 gallons per minute. So there's a 1.5 gallons per minute difference. Okay, why does that matter? Well, since you're putting out 1.5 gallons per minute more, that allows the operator to move at a little bit faster rate, because if they were going the same time, you would obviously overflow the carpet. So would you guys hit it for me there? And we're going to let these beautiful ladies pre-spray the carpet. So you may not see this on camera, but obviously Liz's side is definitely wetter, and she's able to move at a little bit faster rate. So, thank you, ladies. Nice job. So, hope you learned something today. Again, we'd love for you guys to call in and tell us what you'd love for us to talk about. And now we're going to turn it over to Douglas. Before that, I would like to say this. I get blamed for saying the word obviously all the time. And I don't think I said the word obvious at all this segment. So, give myself a little bit of a pat on the back.
Wrong.
I was wrong. Doggone it. I said it. Okay.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, I want to talk about some basic maintenance on the Hydroforce. It is definitely by far one of the most used tools in our industry daily. And we repair these quite a bit all the time. These are things that you can do and help extend the life of it. The main thing is, at the end of every day, you should flush it out with nice hot water. Problem is that doesn't happen, and eventually the chemicals and the scale cake up and it will destroy the parts. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the cap liner. If you lose pressure or it's not pulling the chemical, this is generally your culprit. This guy is $1.94, easy for you to put on, and you're back in business on the job. You never have to leave the job. You should always carry a small kit with you. And the small kit is this. This small kit is generally the parts that do weaken and go bad. Again, the cap is your number one issue. And then you've got your O-rings. O-rings will, deteriorate, and that will cause you also a flow problem. So if you keep these on the truck, you never need to leave the job site. It takes you about 5 minutes to do it. We have a rebuild kit, master what we call, or a large. This is quite entailed, as you can see, multiple parts. And this kit is about $35. This kit will take you probably about a half hour to put together and keep you running. What I want to talk about is the $63 valve. As you can see, the metering tip's already on there. When you buy the new valve, it comes with the factory, the 8-to-1 metering tip. But what happens is, what causes these to go bad, and the only thing that causes them to go bad, is not cleaning it up. And it will build up to a point that we can't get it cleaned out. So you have to do that. Again, just a reminder, the metering tips, the factory 8-to-1, most popular. We stock these here all the time. So keep a couple of those on your truck as well. Again, we can do all of this for you, or you can do it yourself. This is a very simple tool. Thank you.
Thank you, Douglas. And now we're going to turn over to our president, Kristen Bonwell.
Hi, everybody. Happy January. Happy New Year. Welcome to another year of Facebook Live videos. Want to thank everybody for watching. We've had a lot of positive feedback and really appreciate the time you're taking to watch them. We had one of our customers in class a couple of weeks ago saying they were using some of the Facebook Live and some of the Dirty Talk videos Mike's doing that we have on our website. is training for some of their employees, which was super exciting to hear. And we've got some new Dirty Talk videos that are going to be hitting Facebook and the website soon. So be ready for those. We also have a couple new series on Facebook that we've been starting. Tuesdays with Marley. Well, she was running around here. She's over here. So a lot of you like to see Marley and visit her in the showroom. And she's got her own unique set of tips and experiences and perspective. And so we'll be sharing that with you on our Facebook series, Tuesdays with Marley. Another thing that I'm starting is Small Biz Saturday. A lot of you come in and talk to me about how you're running your business, different things you're experiencing, whether it's marketing, whether it's employee or HR issues, whether it's finances, leasing, other kinds of finance issues, all aspects of business. Different owners have come in and talked to me about that, what we're experiencing, what they're experiencing. And so I thought I would share some of the tips and things that I've learned over 20 plus years in this industry and working in business, and some of the tips and articles I get, because I'm always learning. I'm still learning and working with networking groups to try to find an edge in how to make our business run better. So those are some things coming with Facebook. And I wanted to talk about too, this lovely piece of paper should be hitting your mailboxes soon if it hasn't already. This is our first quarter flyer, our van program. We got a great program on vans. Some of the sprayers that are on special, Benefect this first quarter. Buy a case of Benefect, get a free case of wipes. We've got chemical and restoration things, the new Serum Mini Sprayer, ASD Elite Axial Air Movers, some new line Citrus Fire. Let's see, one of the other cool ones, buy a mixed case of New Line deodorizers, get a second free. So if you've been wanting to try some different scents, you could mix those up and get, buy a case, get a case free. So these are first quarter specials. Make sure to mention these so you make sure to get your discounts, okay? A couple other things coming up. We have, we always talk about education. That's what this series is about. That's what our Dirty Talk series is about. We just had a full mold class with Dick Driscoll a couple weeks ago. And we've got John Carter coming in February. The last week of February, we have a carpet, the 26th and 27th, and we have upholstery February 28th and March 1st. Here in Indianapolis, and then we have fire and odor in March here with Jessica James in our Indy location. Check out AdvantageExperts.com for our school schedule. We're a little behind getting it up, but we should have it up here in the next week or so for the rest of the year and for all of our locations. Okay, I think I've covered all the announcements, so it's the time you've all been waiting for. Going to bring the staff in. We're going to do our in-store drawing first. Brian, since you didn't get to demo the sprayers, I'll have you draw our service winner.
Okay.
Who we got?
Rescue Duct.
All right. Is there a name on it?
Art Schlangen and Jim Girdley. I hope I said that right.
Congratulations, guys. We'll get in touch with you for a free service. And then we've got our professional drawing bag here for all of you on Facebook. Come by. If you're in store, you can get some free popcorn we've got in the store as a nice snack. And we're giving away, Brian, you want to draw? Another $50 BP gas card.
James Bethel.
All right, James, give us a call. Tell us how to get in touch with you so we can get you your $50 BP gas card. Everybody, thanks again for watching. We wish you a happy and safe 2019. Thanks. Oh, stay warm.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.